This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on what your kids are spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/iHeart.
I've never felt like this before. It's like you just get me. I feel like my true self with you. Does that sound crazy? And it doesn't hurt that you're gorgeous. Okay, that's it. I'm taking you home with me. I mean, you can't find shoes this good just anywhere. Find a shoe for every you from brands you love, like Birkenstock, Nike, Adidas, and more at your DSW store or DSW.com.
Let your imagination take flight with an AI-powered PC from Lenovo. Whether it's creating digital art, designing new software, or building a portfolio for a future career, our PCs are powered by Intel Core Ultra processors to help students unlock smarter learning and unleash their creativity. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. All you have to do is choose the one that fits your passion. Head to Lenovo.com to shop AI PCs and find your perfect companion. Plus, get 5% off when you create an education account.
See what we have up our sleeves here, 9 to noon into the penultimate. It's 11:18. Good morning. Crafting National Football League related crimes. And just a quick recap. This plays off yesterday, something Brian Flores said during a press conference last week about...
You want me to play the audio?
Sure, go ahead.
45 seconds. Yeah, Flores... Well, Alec asked the question, and then you'll hear from the DC.
Coverages and fronts you guys have run in the last few years, like how much evolution is still possible?
When we run a certain coverage, when we run a certain front, that can always change. So, something we did on first down, we could do on third down. Something we did on third down, we could do on first down. And so that's ever changing. But there's also things throughout the league. I mean, there's a lot of really good defensive coaches in our league. So, let's pop that tape on and see what Vic Fangio's doing. Yeah. Let's see what Spags is doing. Let's see what, those guys are doing. And if there's something that we see that we like and, we think we can implement it, let's try it out. And, if it works, maybe you'll see it in a game. If it doesn't, you probably won't see it in a game. So I think, I'm always open to that.
You think Flores ran out of names of coordinators he respects?
He did. I mean, Flores mentions super well-respected Super Bowl winners, Vic Fangio and Steve Spagnuolo. He, maybe amazingly to some, not to 9 to noon, he didn't mention Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley.
Oh my God.
Who put Rashawn Gary's hand in the grass, and his sacks and forced fumbles went down.
I always love that one.
I mean, shoot, Preston Smith begged for a trade middle of the season, and they had to deal him to Pittsburgh.
I always love that one.
B-Flow ain't stealing from those guys, unless it's stealing Jair Alexander to play corner, and that might be a splashy player theft, and who knows, maybe... under the cover of darkness.
Who knows?
Local maintenance days. Yeah. Who knows? That could happen. But anyway, at 9 to noon, thinking about crafting NFL-related crimes. It's a conceptual thing, a contextual thing, and it involves thievery. It involves play stealing. I think it would be cool if the Minnesota Vikings were looking at some of those Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson run pass option bits.
Ooh.
All right? As in,
good.
The quarterback can run or pass, and it's a moving pocket. Philly does it all the time. I haven't watched enough Ravens, AFC terrorism, watched a ton of Philly. Philly does it all the time. and they move the pocket where it's clear Hurts is either going to run behind some form of a vanguard in front of him.
Yeah.
Or he's going to find some L covering A.J. Brown, and there he goes for 60-something.
Sam Darnold, by the way, only 25 attempts per Pro Football Reference. Mm-hmm. Only 25 attempts all of last year out of what would be considered a run pass options.
Oh my gosh.
Which part of it could be a run for your life or pass out option?
Yeah,
leading him out there.
I don't have the RFYL stats here. I'm going to have to re-up my StatHead subscription, and I'll get you those numbers.
Well, here's the play. It would be relatively new, and I'm glad you laid that out the way you did. Never see it coming, right? But it's the quarterback we are using, the quarterback we are going to use.
Yep.
Now, Jalen Hurts is 6'1", 223. 6'1", tons of fun, and he dresses to a T. And he weighs 223 pounds. J.J. McCarthy, 6'3", 220 pounds, and big boy is still growing at age 22. I think we're an inch in the offseason, inch and a half. You guys can go ahead and laugh at it. But McCarthy at 6'3", 220, I think when raised the right way, which he will be, he can handle the brunt of what Hurts handles when he becomes the run-pass option. And RPO run-pass option, I mean, that's so subjective by those of the analytical bent, because it may look like a run-pass option, maybe a straight run. But you know what? I'm sure that they're breaking down how the blockers in front, where they go and stuff like that. So that was a very telling Darnold stat, and I found it to be quite accurate. But you need the right kind of quarterback to do it. The quarterback has to know how to take hits. The quarterback has to know how to avoid hits. The quarterback doesn't have to be a running quarterback, but he has to have enough run to him to make it a threat. And I'd like to steal the bleep, quite honestly, out of Philly's top shelf stuff and run it on them in the NFC title game. So just keep it in your back pocket all the way to the NFC championship game and break out the Philly special and see what they think. What do you have up your sleeve?
Well, mine is actually, my first one at least is a little bit of an aside or an expansion of that, really. And I know it hurts, but I want you to look at Denver. Ooh. And I want you to look at Bo Nix's season last year with Sean Payton. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it was running out of desperation. A lot of it was running out of just rookie out of his head, gets loose, loses his clock, loses his compass in the pocket, that whole thing.
Yeah.
But there were also some really nice and intricate designed runs for Bo Nix a year ago. And so it is about the quarterback that you're using. When we brought Kirk Cousins in 2018, big part of that conversation, or not big part, but a part of that conversation was, hey, look at what he had done the 3 previous years in Washington. 5 rushing TDs, 4 and 5. I think he had 14 rushing TDs his previous 3 seasons. And then you just didn't see that really manifest itself here in Minnesota.
Period.
But we had talked about it multiple times where, whether it's in Kirk's head or, pull that ball down, Kirk, and run. So that's not a designed run. But opportunities have existed where it's like, man, if we had just, look at Kirk outrunning Marcus Golden around the corner against the Cardinals several years ago and finding his way to the end zone. The athleticism, using that athleticism. And with J.J. McCarthy, it's certainly evident, maybe in some spots even where Darnold didn't have it. And so kind of in that run-pass vein to an extent, but even more specifically, some designed runs, maybe solving some problems inside the 5 in certain spots, deep in that red area. I would love us to maybe just pop on some film of, I know it's going to hurt, Sean Payton and some of the designed work that he did for Bo Nix. And I think that would bode super well for Mr. McCarthy and the Vikings offense.
Yeah, I like that. I'd like to see some of it and kind of see what they're doing from it. So it is like with Bo Nix, it's so many teams are becoming so shotgun oriented. And the Vikings go under center, but they run a lot of shotgun too. It's getting those quarterbacks outside.
Yes.
Yet not being scared to do it.
Right.
It's like last year when I would praise the Arizona Cardinals for what I was watching on the True Media bit of Kyler Murray and his stats. This is where reality and fantasy don't necessarily always mesh. It's age-old conversations that I would have about Eli Manning or Joe Flacco with people before you got here. Is you don't get the fantasy, which for us would be winning the Super Bowl, if you don't get the reality of it squared away. The reality sometimes may be 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 60 rushing yards, and no touchdowns. Great, cool. I got 11 fantasy points. Yeah, there's just more to it than that.
Right. And you win those games with those fantasy dry statistics.
Yeah.
But those are winning performances in the context of those games.
Right. Like, okay, with Rashee Rice injured, Travis Kelce did not have a giant season. Who went to the Super Bowl? KC.
Right.
So nobody's lining up for McCole Hardman. No one's lining up for Skylar whatever from Purdue. Nobody's lining up for the 2 and 3 tight end, Noah whatever and whatever. Same thing with the running backs. Clyde Allaire, whatever. Edwards-Helaire.
What about Jet McKinnon?
There you go.
He works in that system.
Isaiah Pacheco is going to be deeply drafted in fantasy football.
Yeah.
McKinnon works in that system because he can catch and he knows the plays. But that's not a super strong fantasy football team, and it's one of the 2 best teams in the National Football League.
Right.
So now Philadelphia on the other side would satiate you both ways.
That's a fantasy feast over there.
Yeah. I drafted Saquon Barkley, carried me to a championship. I also found a way to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and, when it's not skeletal remains thereof of Dallas Goedert, well, I can use him.
Jalen and those rushing TDs.
And Jalen. So that's a fantasy reality feast.
Yeah.
But there are, let's look, there are 2 players, maybe 3 with Mark Andrews. On the Ravens, okay, I'll take Lamar. Yeah. I'll take Derek. I'll take Mark. You can have Rashad Bateman. You can have whomever else.
Right. Isaiah Likely on a stream, in a spot when you need him.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Stream him this year, and it wasn't the same. It just wasn't as strong or as long. So the point being here is with Kyler is the new regime came in, and, they're all looking at the same things. But Kyler had a problem running and not doing it the right way. Too speed conscious. It was for the benefit of the team. I'm trying to get you more yards, get you first downs, get you into the end zone, get you into field goal position. But he wasn't doing it right because he's slight of frame. And he was taking too many hits that were costing him games. Then there was one season he took a hit in a game, and he got hurt enough to miss practice but play games, and he was terrible.
Yeah,
the final 4 or 5 games. So Kyler's more slight of frame than McCarthy and or Hurts. The examples here. Now neither one are as fast as Kyler. He runs like the wind. He's lickety split. But they both should be better passers. Jalen is, JJ should. Kyler throws punts. So now we got to work around that. So it's the meshing of taking the gifts that have been given to you, being safe with them, but not a fear-based safe.
Yeah.
And making money with it. And that's Jalen. And that to a certain extent is Lamar. With the run and also with the pass. So I like that road you went down there with Bo Nix. That was cool. I'd also like to steal some 2024 Tennessee Titans plays and show the gang, the Minnesota Vikings in practice, how not to run offense.
I always love that one.
Like, don't do this and lose yards most runs. There are many ways you can go with this, and we'll continue some things around the corner on KFAN.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Are you shopping for a new laptop while still trying to keep up with technology and AI? Talk about feeling burnt out. But no more. Lenovo.com makes it easier than ever to find the perfect PC. In fact, we'll break it down for you. Step 1. Shop our lineup of AI PCs powered by Intel Core Ultra processors. Because why deal with downloading new software when you can buy a smarter PC that already comes with all of the AI features and tools? Step 2. Find the one that fits your passion. Whether you're a creative genius, a research scientist, a hardcore gamer, or a future CEO, no dream is too big. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. You can keep up with your ideas as well as any challenges you may face. Step 3. Add to cart and purchase. Oh, if you're a college student or a teacher, make an education account through us and get 5% off your whole order. Shop now at Lenovo.com. A better future is waiting, and it needs you.
You got any more concepts or plays or con, as in the con artist, Seps, that you would like to steal? I
got several. Yeah,
I'd like to hear them because for me, they just to emphasize and lay out there, in fairness, and nobody's breaking any rules. Somebody. It happens in the world of media where they will hear or see something somewhere else that, that's not being done locally, and they do it locally, and it wins or it doesn't win. So it's, I guess that would be plagiarizing. And maybe this is a form of plagiarizing too. But nevertheless, in the NFL, they all look at everything everybody does. And so deeply that, as we shared yesterday with Kobe Fleener and Rhett Ellison and the year 2016, that a tight end around can happen with two teams running the same play within a month, where then Vikings offensive coordinator Norv Turner sees film somehow of a Saints-Carolina Panthers game. He sees tight end Kobe Fleener being put on a tight end around, and he scores a rushing touchdown. So just a month later, the Vikings are at home against the Motor City Kitties, and they're close to the end zone. Here comes Rhett Ellison, left to right, like Fleener, on a tight end around, waltzes into the end zone, touchdown Vikings. I mean, that was just a month removed from that. That's what triggered the bit, or actually what triggered it were some things Brian Flores said at a press conference last week, but I'm sure there are more examples if I thought hard about it, but it doesn't mean, like Common says, he lies for a living, but at least he's honest about it. And that's kind of like cool that Brian Flores shared they analyze others to craft crimes of stealing, and he's honest about it. So that gives us the liberty or the opportunity to think about others and other teams and what they're doing that we think would be kind of cool to, like, see it here. Jalen Hurts and Bo Nix and or Lamar Jackson, and what can you do with J.J. McCarthy, run pass option, stuff like that. Nordo has more.
Yeah, indeed. I guess in the end, I just kind of looked at it as what are other teams doing that they have succeeded against, I mean, in some ways, our teams. And I'm just going to go right here.
Right.
It's Detroit, man. I'm all over the 2024 film of Ben Johnson's offense.
Mm-hmm.
And in particular, the play action. 27% of Darnold's attempts last year came from play action.
Go ahead.
Jared Goff, 38% almost. So this goes into, this is twofold here. You have to create the run game that teams have to respect. And if you create the run game that teams have to respect, I think that opens up the play action. And that leads more plays under center. You mentioned it a bit last segment.
Well, McCarthy is supposed to be good at that because that's when he was drafted, part of the stuff that we heard was played under center more than all the other rookie quarterbacks, so he can turn his back on the defense via the play action.
Yep.
Saw it in training camp. I mean, it's not Matt Ryan-esque, who's about as good at it as I've ever seen in my life from under center. But JJ's good at it.
Yeah, indeed. And part of that again plays into whether it's the run game he had at Michigan and what we're hoping to get out of Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason as a tandem here. 28% of Darnold's attempts came from under center, Goff over 40%. So the reason I'm going into those numbers is not just justifying my StatHead subscription, but I think there's a lot of versatility that comes from the play action. You mentioned moving the pockets, designed runs that we talked about last segment, but the run game itself.
Yeah.
And I think it creates a better opportunity for JJ to succeed and rack up completions when it's effective too. And it's Goff, I don't want to say he's unique to this, but he's one of the most efficient passers out of play action in the NFL. And
I'm
you're talking
digging this.
Super massive high completion percentage. And you're looking at efficient, and this is a team that uses their tight ends well, right? Ben Johnson's offense, highly well-oiled machine that it is. I want to see play action at a higher clip, and I want to give JJ the opportunity that I think evolves into some of those, whether it's running out of a boot, it is pocket movement, it's buying an extra second, and in a lot of ways then, finding confidence in some of the easy stuff. If you're leaking out a Hawkinson or a Josh Oliver, you're getting extra time potentially for Justin Jefferson, long developing route. I think there's so much that can come out of play action. The Vikings, due to the lack of respect to their run game, had trouble, I think, truly selling that. And I think that
2 years ago,
they can be better at it in 2025 for sure.
That's fascinating because in 2022, with Dalvin Cook as your running back, look at the play action with the linebackers and the safeties. Well, then Dalvin's gone, and Madison's not fast.
Yeah,
and whatever the bit was, they
the
weren't,
bit wasn't working.
Right. It's the play action. I mean, if anybody over there's listening, they want to hit me with some analytics and stuff, that'd be great. Okay, but the point's the point. You need a running back who is a threat to have merit with your play action game.
Yes,
and I don't care if the down the field strikes may have been infinitesimally higher than the previous year, even with super special Dalvin.
Right.
But then also in that year, you're running through the weird quarterbacks. So that's kind of a line through it, right?
Well, even look at, you
ain't going to play, you can run Buddy Ryan's 46 with Josh Dobbs, and he can go play action, and Fensick and Plank are going to be on you in 2 seconds. And for those who don't know who they are, they're safeties who play 15 yards from the line of scrimmage. The point being, nobody feared Josh Dobbs play action.
No. Well, think about even Shanahan last year. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but they didn't run play action without Christian McCaffrey. And you can appreciate Isaac Guerendo.
That's great.
But you look at the numbers.
Now we got Jordan Mason, no play action.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
What are you talking about? You went down that road. McCaffrey's out and the play action game is dead. Hey, welcome, Jordan. Good to see you, man. Can't wait to get JJ Deep off that play action.
It was a surprising thing that I saw, and I don't, Jordan Mason had to, I guess, be part of that. But
I guess, but he's the whole bit.
But without McCaffrey, the Niners, and you're thinking about Shanahan and how they use check and all that, and you're thinking play action. I mean, that's a feast right there, right? And you just get that in the hands of Debo or Kittle, and they can run for a mile. They didn't use that a ton. So respecting the run, respecting the guy in the
You just
back.
want to get out of this thing alive now, don't you?
You want to talk about the defense?
Yeah, let's talk about the defense. You got any concepts or contextualizing that we can steal over there, brother?
Coordinators that are finding pressure and affecting the QB without blitzing so much, and how they do it. Is it purely personnel? Is it a schematic brilliance? Jim Schwartz in Cleveland is a guy that has actually done a really nice job with this. But for instance,
well, you did pay for that stat head thing, didn't you?
Vikings led the league in blitz rate, and they were second in the NFL in pressure percentage. Now, those two aren't necessarily just handcuffed 1v1. There are variables associated with it. I get that. But 37.8% of plays they're blitzing. About 28% they're getting the pressure to the QB. But the Rams, for instance, they blitz 27%. They have a 26% pressure rate. So when you see those numbers, if you can bring the blitz rate down but maintain the pressure rate, I think that would be a huge positive for Flores in this defense. Fifth best scoring in the NBA or in the NFL as a defense last year, PA, but middle of the road in yards. And specifically, while you couldn't run on the Vikings a year ago, people were throwing it all over the freaking place. And we saw late stages of games, the DJ Moore catches over the middle in moments where if that blitz didn't get home, we love the gink is on fire, and we love Bernard, and we love all that.
Yeah.
But when we're sending an extra guy and we don't get home, it's open season down the field on this squad. And so whether it's a combination of, do you feel like you upgraded? We can talk about depth another time. Do you feel like you got better on the corners?
Yeah.
But do you feel like you can still get that pressure without sending an extra guy? And I'm sure if it were up to Flores, he'd do 4-man rushes every time, and he could drop guys back into coverage and just be shut down and
all
be elite.
Of them would want to do that.
Get all the sacks. So this is very, I mean, in some ways it's low-hanging and obvious.
Yeah.
But the blitz rate through the last 2 seasons has been exceptionally high, and there's been sacks and really good things that have come along with it. But if I'm Flores, I'm not just watching Spags, I'm not just watching Fangio, although those are terrific at what they do, but I might be looking at like, hey, what are the Colts doing? Hey, what are the Rams, as I just mentioned? The Jets were another team, and the Texans, we'll see them in joint practices. Those are a couple of teams that found their way with Will Anderson and Daniil down in Houston without having to always send that extra guy. I think that would be if Flores is looking at stuff this summer, I bet you that's one of them.
You want to have the defensive season they had last year, I mean, was nearly, if not historical, on many levels. The
most
sacks,
turnovers in the league.
Thank you. Yeah, stuff like that. You want to take it, and as you just triggered me on something about conceptualizing and play stealing and everything off what Brian said about Vicky and Super Special Spags, is now that they have a full year to see, and so you've added Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave into the chat, as Nordo would say, and he created, stealing it from Parker Fox and Max Fuller. So therefore, you're going to have a middle thrust, okay, that is they think is going to be better than they've had since they've been here.
Oh, yeah.
Amen on that, right? Okay, well, people look back at, these guys stay healthy. You know, we got the Ginkas on fire, and we got Grenard over here. You know, we got to deal with that, too. So we know we have to deal with that and what they can do, but what about these guys in the middle? There's the rub, and where the play stealing comes in. You take a look at that Green Bay Packers defensive film from last year, and you take Van Ginkel and Grenard, put their hands in the grass.
I always love that one.
Just like Rashawn Gary. Watch those sacks decrease. Watch those forced fumbles just drift into the mist.
Yeah.
That is the answer to a play-stealing better defense for the Minnesota Vikings.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, how to get 30, how to get 20, 20, 20, how to get 20, 20, how to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold! Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Are you shopping for a new laptop while still trying to keep up with technology and AI? Talk about feeling burnt out. But no more. Lenovo.com makes it easier than ever to find the perfect PC. In fact, we'll break it down for you. Step 1. Shop our lineup of AI PCs powered by Intel Core Ultra processors. Because why deal with downloading new software when you can buy a smarter PC that already comes with all of the AI features and tools? Step 2. Find the one that fits your passion. Whether you're a creative genius, a research scientist, a hardcore gamer, or a future CEO, no dream is too big. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. You can keep up with your ideas as well as any challenges you may face. Step 3. Add to cart and purchase. Oh, if you're a college student or a teacher, make an education account through us and get 5% off your whole order. Shop now at Lenovo.com. A better future is waiting, and it needs you.
And we'll be right back. Old Johnny Athletic is in studio tomorrow, and alas, there's much more 9 to noon. Thank you very much for listening. I'm Paul Allen. Here comes Nordo to put a wrap on the show.
Big boy's back!
It was cool starting the show with Chris Finch. Can you come in studio? He said it's a cinch. Not watching the finals, though. The coach is still bitter, and no mention of these Durant rumors all over Twitter. But for the Howls, sounds like a busy summer, man. They're kind of like a band, and they just need a drummer. Opted in for Nas and very likely Randall, and if Rudy's traded, we'll have a vigil with candles. But it's fodder for the kids out of school, and how big is too big with an above-ground pool? Can Festa deliver a win over Abbott, and tired teams hurt again, man? Dang, Abbott. Local maintenance days for the host, ahoy. He's working in the yard, maybe reading Tolstoy. No Mexican Jell-O, but maybe a nice steak. Cross some fingers for stress-free bathroom breaks.
Take care, Polly Wally.
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.
Are you still quoting 30-year-old movies? Have you said cool beans in the past 90 days? Do you think Discover isn't widely accepted? If this sounds like you, you're stuck in the past. Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. And every time you make a purchase with your card, you automatically earn cash back. Welcome to the now. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard, based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Hi, I'm Danielle Fishel from Pod Meets World. So for my two boys, I got Samsung Galaxy Watch for Kids. And I'm not saying I'm kind of jealous of my kids' tech. I'm saying I am definitely jealous of my child's tech. This thing lets them call, text, and explore all from their wrist. No smartphone required. And don't worry, you're still the boss. You control who they can talk to, and yes, you can totally stalk their location in real time. Get Galaxy Watch 7 on T-Mobile, now kid-ready with a new paired line. Visit T-Mobile.com to order yours today. Parent and child must have a Samsung account and Google account with Family Link. Requires initial pairing with a compatible Samsung smartphone and qualifying wireless plan with LTE service activated. Please check with your carrier for more information. Trusted contact applies to compatible apps. It does not restrict communication through third-party or other communication apps. Emergency services and contacts remain accessible. Location sharing is dependent on network connectivity and device being recently active. T-Mobile terms via 24 monthly bill credits when you add a qualifying paired watch line. See additional offer terms on T-Mobile.com.
Does Friendly have a taste? If it does, it's probably like Hello's peppermint-flavored anti-plaque and whitening toothpaste. Brush away plaque, show tartar who's boss, and remove surface stains to naturally whiten. Hello's thoughtful and flavor-forward products make brushing your teeth feel like a confetti-filled bathroom dance party. So say hello to Hello with the always cruelty-free, never tested on animals toothpaste that's made to spread smiles. Visit HelloProducts.com and let Hello add some everyday yay into your life.
Okay, have you heard about this? Last year, Degree changed the formula for their Cool Rush deodorant. Their fans rebelled and wanted the old scent back. And Degree listened. That doesn't happen often.
They admitted that they effed up and are bringing the original Cool Rush scent back. And it's exactly how you remember it. Cool, crisp, and fresh. There's a reason it's the #1 men's antiperspirant, and it's back in Walmart, Target, and other stores for under $4.
So try it and see what the fuss is about. Head to your local stores to try the OG Cool Rush for yourself.